Welcome to Cupid's Corner, where love stories come alive. Sit back, relax, and let the tales of romance sweep you off your feet.
Destinies and Detours. The storm rolled in like an angry beast, dark clouds blotting out the sun as Grace fumbled with the keys to her van. The wind howled, rattling the windows, and rain began to pelt the roof with a relentless patter. She had been on the road for 6 months, a lawyer turned van lifer, seeking freedom from the confines of her old life, but now nature had other plans. Just my luck, she muttered, glancing at the ominous skies. Perfect weather for an adventure. As she started to gather her things, the wind picked up, and the van rocked slightly. She took a deep breath, shoving her hair behind her ears, determined not to let it get to her. The mountains surrounding her were breathtaking, a jagged range that seemed to pierce the clouds, but they also felt isolating. Rain drummed louder, and she swore she could hear the echoes of thunder growling, a warning she didn't heed. With a sudden lurch, the van sputtered and died, the engine giving a final cough, before falling silent. No, no, no. Grace scrambled to turn the key again, but the only response was a stubborn click. Great. Just great. She stepped outside, the rain soaking her immediately. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth and pine. She squinted through the downpour, searching for help. The nearest town was miles away, and the road ahead was a muddy mess. Just as despair began to creep in, she spotted a figure through the sheets of rain, a man, tall and rugged, with dark hair plastered to his forehead. "Hey," she yelled, her voice barely cutting through the storm. "Can you help me?" He approached, his gait steady, despite the slippery ground. "What happened?" His voice was deep, warm, like the sun peeking through clouds after a storm. "My van just died. I was trying to wait it out, but," she gestured to the tempest raging around them. "Well, you can see how that went." "Levi," he said, extending a hand. "Grace. Let's take a look." He crouched next to the van, a smirk playing on his lips. "Looks like you were trying to outrun a storm. You won't get far in this weather." "I wasn't trying to outrun anything," she protested. "Just trying to find some peace." "Peace in a tin can?" He chuckled, shaking his head as he popped the hood. "You might want to rethink your definition of peace." As he tinkered with the engine, Grace crossed her arms, leaning against the van. "And what's your definition?" "Waking up to the sound of birds instead of traffic. Breathing fresh air. Finding adventure in every moment." He glanced at her, his eyes sharp and serious. "What's a lawyer doing out here, anyway?" "Escaping," she replied, her voice quieter now. "I wanted something different. I thought I'd find it out here, but I guess I didn't expect to be stranded." "Not all who wander are lost," he said, a twinkle in his eye. "Sometimes they just need a little help." After a few more minutes of tinkering and some choice words about the van's manufacturer, Levi managed to coax the engine back to life. It roared to life with a sputter, and Grace couldn't help the grin that spread across her face. "See? Told you I could help," he said, brushing his hands on his jeans. "Now, you owe me a favor." "A favor?" she echoed, raising an eyebrow. "Come with me on a guided trek," he said, his expression earnest. "I know these mountains like the back of my hand. You'll get a taste of true adventure, and I could use the company. It's not safe out here alone, especially with weather like this." Grace hesitated, glancing at the van and then back at him. The thought of being in the wilderness with a stranger was daunting, but the spark of excitement in his eyes was infectious. "Okay," she finally said, "but only if we can stop for coffee first. I'm going to need it to keep up with you." "Deal," Levi replied, his grin widening. "But fair warning, I make a mean campfire coffee. You might never want store-bought again." As they drove along the winding mountain roads, the rain began to ease, revealing patches of blue sky. Grace stole glances at Levi, his hands gripping the wheel, the muscles in his forearms taut and defined. She couldn't help but feel a flutter in her chest, a mix of excitement and nerves. "So, what's your story?" Levi asked, breaking the comfortable silence. "You really left all that behind?" Yeah, she said, her voice steady, though the memory stirred a familiar ache. I was drowning in paperwork and deadlines. I thought if I hit the road, I'd find something. Not sure what that something is yet. Sounds like you're searching for freedom. Or maybe just an escape, she admitted, glancing out the window. Do you ever feel like you're running away? Sometimes, he said thoughtfully. But I think it's more about running towards something for me. The mountains are my home. They ground me. Do you have a family? Grace asked, curious about him. Not the kind that worries about me, he replied, a shadow passing over his face. Just me and the mountains. You learn to rely on yourself. The conversation flowed easily as they reached a cozy cafe nestled at the foot of the mountains, a rustic building with a warm glow spilling from the windows. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air as they walked in, and Grace felt a wave of comfort wash over her. 2 cups of your best brew, please, Levi said to the barista, his demeanor relaxed as he leaned against the counter. Coming right up, the barista replied with a smile. Grace watched him, enchanted by the easy confidence he exuded. You're not worried about getting wet out there? Nope, he said, winking at her. I'll take on whatever nature throws our way. It's all part of the adventure. Is that your motto? She asked, teasing. No, but it should be. They took their mugs outside, the rain now a distant memory, and settled on a bench overlooking the mountains. The landscape was breathtaking, and Grace breathed deeply, feeling a sense of peace that had eluded her for so long. Cheers, Levi said, raising his cup. Cheers, Grace echoed, clinking her mug against his. Tell me about your favorite case, he prompted, taking a sip. Lawyer stories can't be boring, right? Grace chuckled, shaking her head. You'd be surprised. Most of the time, it was just a whole lot of arguing over paperwork. Sounds thrilling, Levi said, rolling his eyes dramatically. But seriously, there must be a moment that stood out. There was one, she began, her eyes lighting up as she recalled the memory. I defended a small town against a huge corporation, trying to take their land for a new highway. It was David versus Goliath. We won, and the look on the townspeople's faces, she trailed off, a smile creeping onto her lips. Now that sounds like a win worth celebrating, Levi said, his expression thoughtful. But you don't seem like the type to celebrate much. Maybe I'm still learning how, she replied, her voice softer. Levi watched her intently, and for a moment, the world around them faded. You should celebrate more, he said. Life's too short to not enjoy the little victories. Grace's heart raced as she met his gaze, the air between them thickening with unspoken words. Maybe you're right. They finished their coffee, and the sun began to break through the clouds, casting a golden hue over the mountains. Levi stood, brushing off his jeans. Ready for that trek? Absolutely, she said, adrenaline coursing through her veins. The hike began with a gentle incline, but soon they were navigating rocky paths and thick underbrush. Grace stumbled, but Levi was quick to catch her, his hands firm on her arms, steadying her. Easy there, he said, his voice low and teasing. You're not going to find peace if you keep tripping over your own feet. I'm not used to this, she shot back, playfully pushing him away. I'm more of a desk chair kind of person. Looks like you're in for a crash course, he replied, a glint of amusement in his eyes. As they climbed higher, they shared stories about their lives, laughter punctuating the effort. Grace felt a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in years, the weight of her old life lifting with every step. Why did you choose to be a guide? She asked, curiosity piqued. I grew up camping with my dad, he said, a hint of nostalgia in his voice. He taught me everything I know. After he passed, I realized I wanted to keep his memory alive by sharing this. Grace's heart ached for him, the depth of his loss evident in his expression. That sounds beautiful, she said softly. I'm sorry for your loss. Thanks, he replied, a small smile breaking through the sadness. But it's also given me purpose. I get to show people the beauty of the world, help them find their own adventures. They reached a clearing, the view breathtaking as they looked out over the valley below. The sun had fully emerged now, and Grace felt a rush of exhilaration. Wow, she breathed, taking in the rolling hills and dense forests stretching into the distance. Looks like you found your piece, Levi said, stepping closer. It's incredible, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. As they stood side by side, the connection between them sparked like electricity. Grace's heart raced as she turned to him, noticing the way the sunlight caught his features. Thank you for bringing me here, she said, her voice thick with emotion. He turned to face her, their eyes locking with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. You're worth the adventure, Grace. Without thinking, she leaned closer, drawn in by an invisible force. Their lips met, soft and tentative at first, but quickly deepening into something more urgent. Grace felt the world fade away, the mountains, the sky, everything dissolved into the warmth of his kiss. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, Levi rested his forehead against hers. I didn't see that coming, he admitted, his voice a low rumble. Neither did I, Grace replied, her heart pounding. But the moment was interrupted by a distant rumble of thunder, the sky darkening once more. Looks like we might need to head back, Levi said reluctantly. Yeah, I don't want to get caught in another storm. They hiked back down, the tension between them crackling like the storm that had brought them together. Each brush of their arms sent butterflies fluttering in Grace's stomach, and she found herself stealing glances at him, captivated by his passion and strength. As they reached the van, the skies opened up again, rain pouring down in sheets. Perfect timing, Levi said, grinning as he pulled her beneath the shelter of the van's awning. Just like earlier, she laughed, feeling giddy. Only this time, we're both soaked. Right, Grace said, playfully nudging him. Maybe I should thank you for my unexpected shower. Anytime, he replied, his gaze lingering on her lips. So, what's next for you? I don't know, she said, her heart aching at the thought of leaving. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Why not stick around for a bit? I could use a hand with some guiding tours, he suggested, a hopeful edge to his voice. You're already here. Why not make the most of it? She hesitated, the weight of his words settling in. What about the van? And my plans? Plans can change, he said, stepping closer, his voice quiet and earnest. You're out here for a reason, Grace. You've already taken the leap. Why not take the next step? The rain drummed against the roof, a steady rhythm that felt like a heartbeat, and Grace's heart raced in response. You're right, she said finally, her resolve strengthening. I'll think about it. Good, Levi said, a smile breaking across his face. Because I think you'll find there's more out here than you ever realized. As the rain continued to pour, they stood close, the tension between them palpable. Levi leaned in, brushing a thumb against her cheek, and Grace felt a surge of boldness. You know, I think I could get used to this adventure thing. Levi's eyes sparkled with mischief. Just wait until you see what I have planned next. The storm may have brought them together, but it was the promise of new beginnings that ignited the fire within Grace. She was finally ready to embrace the unknown, and with Levi by her side, she felt that the adventure was only just beginning.
Thank you for listening. Let's spread the love. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, because everyone deserves a bit of romance.